All right, let's find something nice to say about the 49ers, who were 5.5 point underdogs going into Philly to face a team that's rested. What are the Niners' biggest advantages in this game?
What I think is the biggest advantage is Robert Saleh against Kevin Patullo. I think,
Bingo.
yeah, hands down is I mean, and Jalen Hurts even said he had some comment saying, oh, with this coordinator, this is our offense. Like, kind of just like threw him under the bus a little bit, oh yeah, like this is like we do this.
Vibes are not good with that team.
No, which it's what I keep saying to you is that, when you have Saquon, AJ, and Devontae, and you have a great defense, you get away with it a little bit. You get away with we score 20 ugly points and we hold the team under 20 and you just kind of get by. And that I think that's what they're going to try and do in this game, which I think that it benefits Saleh of if they run the same plan and the same things like that. It's vanilla. It plays into his hand. They haven't had a great run scheme. He could scheme circles around Kevin Patullo. And what I keep thinking is if you're, drawing up the 49ers winning, and Saleh talks about it a lot, I'll give up yards to get a red zone stop, or I'll give up yards to get a fourth down stop. The Eagles start off hot. They punch you in the mouth, but it's 6-0 because they only kicked 2 field goals on 2 great drives, and then you get a drive before the half. Oh, it's 6-3 or it's 7-6. You just got your butt kicked all half and it's 7-6 and you get the ball at halftime. And now it's 10-6 or 14-6. And now Saleh can, start to get really creative, really interesting. And it just starts to, snowstorm on top of Philadelphia. And you say, well, this offense, they can't come from 14-6 down. This is awful. So I think that's the biggest thing. And I mean, Shanahan is a great coach too. You can say Fangio is as well, but he's obviously one of the best play callers in the NFL, and he makes the Super Bowl consistently when he makes the playoffs for a reason. So I think coaching wise, you have to go San Francisco, even though obviously Sirianni has a ring.
Yeah, you figure the Eagles really should score a lot of points. They have much more talent, and the Niners are starting guys off the street at linebacker, but the coaching advantage is so stark for the 49ers on this side of the ball. And this really is, Robert Saleh's audition for head coaching jobs. If he holds down this offense with Kazir White and Eric Kendricks on the field, teams might wait a few weeks to hire him. Yes. So, yeah, I would expect that we're going to get the best of the Niners defense, the best of Robert Saleh, 8 days to prepare. You're going up against a complete stiff that they want to fire. What's crazy about the Eagles, if they lose this game and it's bad, the way they operate, I wouldn't even be surprised if they fired Sirianni.
Right.
They're nuts. And they might, I don't really know what Sirianni does anyway. I feel like Howie Roseman could put someone else in there and be right back in the Super Bowl the next year.
Right. And I talked about the coaching matchup, and I at the very end, I was like, oh yeah, and Sirianni has a Super Bowl, by the way. But yeah, it comes down to, I think the biggest thing is that, you look at the Saints and you say, Tyler Shuck looks pretty good. They won a bunch of games down the stretch. Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator of the Eagles when they made that Super Bowl run. Maybe he's not much of a Dutz. And, obviously we know Fangio's good. So when Sirianni has Kellen Moore, who's obviously good, and Fangio, who's obviously good, the sky's the limit. We saw that last season. But when it's Kevin Patullo, who has had these flaws, maybe it does come down to, oh, well, Jalen Hurts has playoff experience. Oh, well, they've never really lost a home playoff game or something. There's that stat of Sirianni's record at home in the playoffs is, excellent. Okay, that happens, but that never happened with Kevin Patullo as your head, as your offensive coordinator. Right. So I think that is potentially, that's kind of the biggest thing, where you could potentially beat them. And I guess the other thing is that, when you have Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Trent Williams, it's 3 of the best players at their respective position. So, I mean, that's at least enough of, okay, Saleh keeps you in a game long enough for, like I kind of said on the Eagles side, it's, when you have Devontae, AJ, and Saquon, the scheme can be trash, but those 3 can make something happen. When you have Kittle, McCaffrey, and Trent Williams, it could, at least something could happen.
You didn't mention someone.
Brock.
Yeah. Is he at advantage? Like, do the Niners have the quarterback advantage in this game?
This is tough because to plug an article I wrote, I ranked the top quarterbacks in the NFC, and I leaned to Jalen Hurts, and I felt kind of bad doing it, but I came back to Brock's run was against, Indianapolis, who's fallen apart, the Titans, who are falling apart, the Chicago, whose defense, we've seen their issues. They're underdogs to the Packers, who have injury after injury because people think the Bears defense isn't, good enough to win a home playoff game, is kind of why that spread is so low. So, Brock's played well, but He hasn't done it against a Seattle, and it's unfortunate because he was injured against that Houston defense. But that first Seattle game, he only scored 17 points. So 17 points against Seattle, 3 points against Seattle. Hasn't played many excellent defenses, so
it hasn't won a road playoff game.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a defining game for Brock Purdy here, and when the situation is great, he always lives up to the expectation. When it's a bad defense or when all the pieces are around him, it always works out in his favor. But when pieces start to fall apart or the defense starts to get better, he stops to be that person. But then, on the other side, it's not like Jalen Hurts is very good this season. He has the playoff experience and he has the wins and everything like that and the demeanor. But it's not like you look around and say, well, he's picking teams apart. So
no, it seems like his wide receivers want to wring his neck.
Yes.
They can't stand him.
Right. More than Brock Purdy, who seems very likable. So who knows?
It's true.